I was just talking about, I think I spoke about the relationship between Virgo and Gemini on my YouTube account, subscribe to Wise Goddess Infinity Inc. You know, Virgos are pretty much transitioners, the Hermit. That, frequency, that energy that's, felt, but, not really seen, because a true blue Virgo likes to stay hidden, but it's such a powerful frequency, because you feel it even if you don't see it. And that's because Virgos are, like I said, transitioners, but we are that line between the dead and the, undead, or the dead and the living, or, the spiritual realm, or the astral plane, and the physical realm, the matrix. And that's why we don't give into facades that much. A true blue Virgo. And, the reason for that is because we know the spiritual realm, and we also know the matrix. So we understand facades and egos. And that's why we don't play into them, and we introspect a lot, which is to analyze oneself. But we also analyze our environments and, aspects of our environments. That includes, people and other beings like animals within our environments, including, spirits. Because like I said, we are transitioners, between the spiritual and the physical. And, it's such a beautiful frequency, being is like right, smack in the middle of the zodiac wheel, because it's that sixth frequency. And it's not really, some people believe there are 13 frequencies, and, some people believe there are 13 months and 13 zodiacal frequencies. Okay, but saying, okay, it's 12, it's not really, there's not much of a middle there. But if we were to say there is a middle, it would be, Virgo and Libra. But, because Virgo is the beginning, transitioning from the first half to the second half, it's that, major transitioner, if you understand, the calculations or the math here. But what's so, eccentric or unique about this frequency that, reminds me of that Aquarius frequency being eccentric, unique, is that, those in Earth frequency is also mercurial, because it's ruled by Mercury, along with Gemini. But, the funny thing is, with that correlation between Virgo and Gemini, Gemini, in terms of being ruled by Mercury, is more tangible than Virgo, because Virgos are not talkative. Geminis are more talkative. So Geminis are more of that tangible aspect of Mercury, though it's an air frequency, it's swords frequency, words. Yeah, and you would think that, the Earth frequency is more tangible, but the Earth frequency is the Hermit, the one that is felt, not seen. And then there you've got Gemini, they have a similarity there, with that Leo frequency taking center stage, wanting to be seen, and that's why they use words so much. They tend to interject so much. They tend to interfere so much. That's also an aspect of Gemini, interfering, okay, as that Eight of Swords. And then, it's I think about, how tricky or ironic situations can be at times, because just really looking at the Gemini Virgo, relations right there, that though, Virgo is an earth frequency, it is, not so tangible like Gemini. And, hence it rules thoughts and, introspection, analysis, planning, okay, dealing with your mind, similar to Aries, but in a different aspect. Because, Virgo is, that plan that you make before, taking that movement, making that move, which is Mars frequency, Aries. Okay, prior to putting into action, Mars, Aries. Okay, there's a lot of, lightning. There seems to be a thunderstorm nearby. But that is so eccentric, though, I think to myself. But, also I kind of wanted to touch on Chinese astrology, because that is very profound. And knowledge is power. That's why you don't completely write things off or discredit things or people. You try to understand before you try to discard or, discredit. Because, prior to coming into astrology, I questioned astrology, because, like I've said in prior videos, I have supposedly 2 older sisters who too are Sun in Virgo, which, is when the Earth was transiting the frequency of Virgo. But they're so different than I am. And then I realized, the frequency year, when I came into study and, study Chinese astrology, I realized, all 3 of us are born under a different frequency year. And that made, a whole world of difference. Then I realized, I'm a true blue Virgo, because I was born during the year of the Hermit, the year of the Snake. Along with, being born during the 9th month, during Virgo season, because we know that Libra is also an aspect, rules also an aspect of the 9th month. And then I thought to myself, wow, so, the frequency year that we were born under means so much more, because they too were born when the Earth transited Virgo, the zodiacal frequency Virgo. They were born under different frequencies, and I find that, they, exude energies or frequencies, similar to them animal frequencies, aggression for one, and one is very poisonous in a very sneaky kind of way. And I thought to myself, how profound is Chinese astrology, So you have people, they were very skeptical of people discovering, the day, the month in which, they were born. But that's not much. The year in which one was born is more of a, revealer of one's ways and characteristics and traits. Yeah. Very profound. Now I understand, why I'm such a hermit, I understand. I'm a true blue Virgo, I couldn't be any other way, Now, but being a transitioner, with Virgos, the physical environment and the mental environment, they go hand in hand. It's, being a transitioner and being, in between both worlds means that you are, balanced in certain regards, in the sense that, the planning, the mental, aspect, is affected by the physical aspect, and vice versa. And that's why Virgos, they tend to be so orderly and organized, because being in an organized environment helps, the thoughts to, gel together well and to flow smoothly, and vice versa. I don't know. I saw 3 cats. I think within an hour or a little over an hour. That's an omen. And they're big cats. There are no kittens. So I'm gonna take that like 555 because that's Leo frequency. Yeah. But the Hermit, yeah, takes you from life to death and death to life. And also, where this topic is concerned, this teaches you that looks can definitely be deceiving, because though Virgo is tangible, Virgo is very spiritual and very intangible. I get a lot of people tend to have a lot of misconceptions where I'm concerned. People tend to assume that I'm a very vain person. I value the physical as I value the spiritual, and vice versa. Both are important. Both are necessary. It says, Christ said, I'm trying to remember that exact scripture. I'm talking about faith without works. It wasn't Christ who said that. Of course, he's an influence behind all of what was said, because he is the Word. Okay, the Word that became flesh. But in regards to the fishes and the loaves of bread, and him feeding the 5,000. Okay, so it said, man shall not live by bread alone. But he also went on to say that, the people, they still need bread. I'm just paraphrasing. So though, we gotta feed the spirit, but we still gotta feed the body. And that's what I'm trying to get at, So, being mentally organized is important, as well as being physically organized, okay? So we have to remember not to neglect either. And that's the balance of life. And that's, that similarity between Virgo and Aquarius, because Aquarius rules balance, okay? But Virgo, being a transitioner, okay, is in its own right balance. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that. I was going to add that to the video that I previously uploaded prior to this one, in regards to standing up for one's right. But I just felt like doing this separately after that one got messed up. Yeah. You want to be good to the Bruja, because the Virgo is the Bruja, Hecate, the witch, the transitioner. You want to be good to a true blue Virgo. You want to be good, because thoughts are very powerful. Or thoughts that are made manifested into the physical, that we used to manifest the physical, because you have to plan something before you create something. That's the natural order of life, okay? It's by thoughts that everything is manifested. You know, God, He created all of this, but He first thought of it before creating it, or creating everything. Alright? He first thought, and then He spoke them into being, and they were. Okay? And everything, you know, received their being, or received life, or, you know, came to life. But it was first perceived in his mind, his thoughts, that Virgo frequency. And he pulled that from the spiritual realm, which is what was in his spirit, his thoughts, right, to the physical realm, and manifested a physical world from the mental one, you know, the one, you know, in his spirit, the one in his thoughts. Alright? Because spirit, that's Pisces, and that's the inverse of Virgo. They share a wavelength. Okay? So if you guys can see that connection there, that would be beautiful, that I don't have to explain that. Yeah, that's beautiful and profound. So Virgos, they're so balanced that they know how to pull on that Pisces aspect of the wavelength, the spiritual realm. And, you know, because it shares Mercury with Gemini, it pulls on that physical aspect of pulling something from the spiritual realm to the physical by thinking and speaking. Because though Virgo is, you know, thoughts, Virgos still speak, but when necessary, when it's to create or to destroy. Yeah? Hence being, you know, the hermit, the transitioner, the watcher. Okay? Virgo is the watcher. So, I just felt like sharing that with you guys. I'm going to leave it there. Namaste.